With only 2 movies under his belt and Nope on the horizon,
Let's go, baby! Let's go!
Jordan Peele has proven himself to be one of the most fascinating voices within the horror genre. And if you had said that 7 or 8 years ago, most people would have thought you were crazy. But even when he was best known for the hilarious sketch comedy show Key and Peele, Jordan proved very capable of combining surreal dark humor with unnerving imagery.
Ain't that some These are some racist motherfucking zombies. Why would you even
But even though we knew the man was very talented, it's safe to say no one was quite prepared for the impact his debut feature Get Out would have, not just on horror fans, but the cinematic landscape at large. Socially relevant, morbidly funny, and frequently terrifying, the film became an instant classic upon its release, before culminating at the Academy Awards with 4 Oscar nominations and 1 win for Peele's ingenious, layered screenplay. Following that up would be no easy feat, but Peele was up for the challenge with another clever, haunting horror effort, Us, which introduced a fresh new spin on the home invasion subgenre. While maybe not quite as universally beloved as its predecessor, Us was a box office hit and fostered a very serious fan base large enough to prompt debates over which film is the superior one. And wouldn't you know it, that's what we're going to discuss right here. Is Jordan against Peele. A tough competition, but we're ready for this battle, and I hope you are too.
Noise!
Face Off.
Disclaimer. No actual science was used to determine the outcome of Face Off. Your results may vary. Please do not consume Face Off if you are allergic to conjecture, opinion, or general nonsense.
Round 1. Premise. Jordan doesn't lack for imagination or ambition, let's give him that right off the bat, as both films present scenarios we've never seen before. At least, not like this. Get Out is about an interracial couple who go to visit the girl's intellectual parents, a stressful enough situation for the duo. While our protagonist Chris correctly assumes the weekend will be somewhat awkward, he has no way of knowing things will go from awkward to terrifying all too quickly, as his girlfriend's family is part of an insidious clan that erase the identities of unsuspecting black people in order to use their bodies as vessels for the brains of rich old white people. Insidious in the extreme and brilliantly crafted by Peele. In his follow-up, Peele tells a similarly self-contained horror story, but one that has a much bigger scope. A family taking a relaxing vacation finds itself under siege by a quartet of nightmarish boogeymen. Boogeymen who look exactly like them. In a shocking surprise, it turns out they're part of a bizarre government experiment which sought to use underground clones to control actions of the people topside, but it got out of hand and was quietly abandoned. Now those clones are seeking revenge and brand new existence by replacing their counterparts. It's a wild idea, totally unpredictable, and while perhaps not as impactful as it should be, it's one that sticks with you for days. Both films have extremely fresh and irresistible premises, and if his comedy work hadn't already made it clear that Peele possesses a very active imagination, these stories might certainly highlight that fact. While you may prefer one over the other, there's no doubt that both movies come packing terrific premises. Verdict? Draw. Now, before we continue, we'd like to thank you for watching Face Off. If you like what you see, please subscribe to our channel, like this video, and click on the bell so you can be notified each time a new video goes live. Now back to the show. Round 2, Protagonist. Peele proves himself a very strong creator of interesting characters, so it goes that both of our protagonists are likable and sympathetic, certainly appreciable qualities in a horror film. It also doesn't hurt that the actors who inhabit them provide really tremendous performances. Get Out's lead is Chris, a charming, unassuming photographer whose relaxed attitude shields some understandable anxieties. We find ourselves rooting for the guy right away, sympathizing with his situation situation and fearing for his safety and sanity, the worse his plight becomes. When the entire conspiracy has been revealed, we've never rooted harder for a character's escape, not before some well-earned revenge, of course. As played by Daniel Kaluuya, Chris is a dynamic protagonist because while we feel bad for him and the insane trouble he's in, he's no pushover as proven by his awesome ninth inning rally. Kaluuya received a much-deserved Oscar nomination for Best Actor, ensuring that Chris is one horror lead for the ages. Peele got himself an Oscar winner to play his next protagonist, Lupita Nyong'o, who takes on the daunting task of playing two very different characters. Our hero is Adelaide, matriarch of a pleasant family who still carries the trauma of a creepy childhood experience with her, especially since their vacation home is located right where said trauma occurred. Once all hell breaks loose, it's mostly on Adelaide's shoulders to fight back against the demented doubles, which she handles in badass fashion. Of course, anyone who's seen the film knows Adelaide holds a rather surprising secret close to her heart, one that makes her even more fascinating a heroine in hindsight. Somehow, Lupita was not nominated for her turns here. Pretty disappointing considering she gives not only one, but two very memorable performances. Both lead characters earn our support almost instantly, and they continue to evolve as their respective films go on. This round is also too close for us to call, since we dig them both too much. Verdict? Draw. Round 3, Villains. Here's where things start to get juicy, where we separate the men from the boys, or the tethered from the untethered. Get Out's villains are among the most detestable we've seen in a mainstream film in a long time. Hospitable and friendly, they wear the carefully crafted masks of cordial liberals, all the while plotting to effectively send innocent people into a hell known as the sunken place, a bottomless void where the consciousness goes to rot. It's a chilling thought, and the movie presents it as vividly as could be hoped for. Once you know what's going on, you cannot wait to see the intimidating Armitage family get their just desserts, especially Rose, the soulless instrument used to bring these unsuspecting victims. Allison Williams excels at showing us both Rose's counterfeit sweet side and the vile temptress who lurks just behind that facade.
Where are those keys, Rose?
You know I can't give you the keys, right, babe?
Us showcases villains who, while capable of some really nasty things, may not be quite as bad as we initially perceived. The tethered are understandably upset at their lot in life, and with Adelaide's doppelganger Red in charge, the time has come for them to take what's been robbed of them. In essence, it's a slave uprising, and while the people in the real world may be ignorant of what's going on just beneath their feet, you can still sympathize somewhat with the clones who yearn for a better life. Plus, as we learn in the film's aforementioned twist ending, Red is actually the real version of Adelaide, and Adelaide is the clone who is smart enough to escape all those years ago. While we dig the tethered for how interesting they are and how they hint at a much larger world than what the movie shows us, the Armitage clan is just too diabolical to defeat here. When you love watching villains get the snot kicked out of them, you know they've earned your hatred. Verdict? Get Out. Round 4, Horror Scares. Because Peele is such a razor-sharp writer, he's way more interested in frightening us with ideas rather than cheap jump scares, although he proves himself very adept at those too. So it goes that both films linger in your mind well after you've left the theater. As mentioned, Get Out's scariest element is the knowledge that not only are these innocent people being replaced in their own bodies, but their soul still survives in that horrible sunken place. They don't even have the dignity of death. That's powerful stuff. Thankfully, Peele is just as good a director as he is a writer, and he expertly sets the unnerving mood of the piece as soon as Chris and Rose get to her family's estate. Chris's first visit to the sunken place
Sink into the floor.
Wait.
Sink.
is a real eye-opener. no pun intended, and the most distinctive set piece within a horror movie in years. The horror in us is a little more visceral, with more emphasis on the genuine scares popping up in your face. That opening sequence is quite gripping, as is the creepy introduction of the tethered.
What kind of white shit?
Peele once again shows he knows how to conduct a chilling sequence, with some ideas he plants in your head about those hapless clones underground are indeed disturbing. That said, the chills provided by Get Out are thoroughly effective. The movie has you in its grip from the get-go, delivering one ominous scene after another, adding up to a horror movie that simply won't get out of your head. Verdict: Get Out. Round 5, finale. Jordan Peele knows as well as anyone that most movies are only as good as their endings, so he capably delivers spooky and action-filled conclusions for both. You already know we're fans of Get Out's ending. As soon as things look darkest for Chris, his smarts allow him to outwit those dastardly woke intellectuals and serve up some bloody justice, not only for himself, but for all who came before him. But just as we're celebrating his escape, it appears as though he's once again going to be thwarted by the evil Rose, and even when he gets the best of her, our worst fears are imagined when Peele shows us those flashing lights, expertly taking us out into expecting the worst. But have no fear, Rod is here, so you can consider this shit handled.
I mean, I told you not to go in that house.
An absolutely brilliant finale to a movie that already hadn't missed a beat. The audience exits the theater smiling and high-fiving, knowing they just saw a winner. Us's ending is a little darker and more ambiguous. Just as we've learned Red deserves more pity than anger, she and Adelaide square off in a carefully orchestrated fight that ends with Red's brutal murder. And while the family unit is once again together and secure, we're left with the chilling realization that the matriarch isn't quite who she says she is. In fact, never has been. That's a neat little twist, and Peele takes us out by revealing the tethered are popping up all over the place, perhaps hinting at a greater battle to come. It's a very cool conclusion, and while it may not have the fist-pumping theatrics of Get Out's ending, it still leaves more than a small impression. All that said, man, Get Out sets them up and knocks them down so perfectly we can't go in any other direction. Us wraps up with some very thought-provoking imagery, but Get Out sends us home completely satisfied. Verdict: Get Out.
I'm kind of the guy that says noise. Noise is my thing. No more noise from you.
Round 6, trailer. Okay, this is a new one for us, but it's a fitting addition considering both movies gave us killer teases before their release. Each trailer gave us solid ideas what they're about while still withholding plenty of information, further grabbing our attention, an art form in and of itself. Get Out's trailer is pure horror movie stuff, telling us almost right off the bat that this lovely couple's weekend getaway is going to be far from pleasant. The concept that race plays a major factor in the plot is front and center. And though we may think we have a handle on what the story is, the trailer is more than a little disorienting, showing us a good deal while keeping most of its major secrets. It's a near perfect tease, giving the audience plenty to chew on and capture their interest. As for the trailer for us, well, what else can be said when it premiered on Christmas in 2018? This writer can assure you that it was all I could think about the entire day. Dinner with the family, be damned. And I know I'm not the only one who watched it like a dozen times. A masterclass in advertising. The trailer shows us everything it needs to the cherry prelude, to the hook, to the fierce unveiling of the hook, then a flurry of frightening images that hint at a very different kind of movie. But it wouldn't be as memorable if it weren't for that brilliant soundtrack, a creeped out rendition of Got 5 on It, a more than 20-year-old hip-hop classic.
Can't believe how big they've got.
Did you hear Gabe got a boat?
Crawl, Daddy! Ha ha! He's kidding, right?
Safe to say, not a single person out there would have predicted that song would be transformed into something genuinely haunting, not to mention thrilling and thematically on point, and it made every last viewer of the trailer 100% committed to seeing the film. It didn't hurt at all that we were already eagerly awaiting the new Jordan Peele movie, but this trailer sent that anticipation level way over the top. Well, we love that Get Out trailer. It more than gets the job done, but this is one category Peele's Oscar winner stands no chance in. Verdict? Us. Us is a remarkably intriguing film, and it sports two great performances by one great actress. But Get Out already has cemented itself as a modern classic, one of the most impactful genre films in a generation. It wins this contest handily, but that's certainly no disrespect to its ambitious follow-up. What's most important is Peele takes big swings and connects, and he's made certain that movie fans are going to be glued to whatever sinister concoction he puts out. The ball is in your court. Nope. Final verdict. Get Out. But don't let us have the final word. Tell us in the comments which social thriller is your pick, Get Out or Us. And as always, thanks for watching.